Hello, this is Sass from Copia Stars, and thank you for being here. Whether you're new or whether you are returning, I am so grateful for you. This is a reading for Tuesday, the 6th of January, and it is still pretty cold out there. It's warmed up a little bit. We've got a bit more snow today, but not much. It's already melting, let's just say that. So, as much as my partner wants to go out and play in it. Big kids, aren't they? I think he's gone home for a cup of tea instead. So, we are reading for Tuesday, the 6th of January. This is a general reading, so please take what resonates and leave the rest. I am here trying to do one every day. I had a real flop. Before Christmas because I was so busy with work commitments. So here I am, I'm back and I'm doing it every day and I'm trying to stay consistent. So hey, 2026 is going to be my year, baby. I've just had a feeling about it, you know, just had a feeling. I've got to work really hard because, you know, these things don't just come to us on a plate, you know. It's like, you know, the chances of winning the lottery are very slim, aren't they? So here we have, it's very cold in here today. My little fingers are very cold, and because my flask is so, I've got a wonderful coffee flask that has been through the dishwasher too many times. It used to be blue, and it's so good that it doesn't let any heat out. So I'll just warm myself from the inside. Right, okay, enough. Time. This is presence and self-awareness. We've got seeds, which is new ideas, hope and open-mindedness. We've got basil, which is prosperity, luck and love. We have oak tree, power, courage and strength. And we have soil, which is stability and simplicity. We have hedge, which is potential boundaries and indecision. And we have moss agate, which is positivity and change. It's the time of year for it, isn't it? There's a lot of, you know, new ideas and change, open-mindedness, you know, positivity. It is January. At the end of the day, we are all making plans, aren't we? We're all looking to the future to see what this year is going to bring us. Because my goodness, if I meet somebody who didn't find 2025 challenging, I will give them a hug and hope for some luck, because last year was hard work, hard work, emotionally, mentally, physically. There was so much going on, you know, whether it was in our own lives or whether it was in the world stage, but that's not for here. So let's go into this year with love, compassion and possibility, because without love and compassion there is no possibility. We have to make the changes. We have to be the change. I think that you know, we've got to find our power and our courage and our strength, and if there is something that we feel strongly and we believe in, we need to power out and stick by it. If we have dreams, if we have these cards are really hard to shuffle sideways. If we have dreams and hopes and wants and goals and needs, we have to start planning new ideas, you know, this with a prosperity mindset, you know, this kind of like abundance, you know, this don't think too far. I mean, obviously if you want to like mark your goal as your end result, you know, what you want, fine, but remember that, you know, baby steps is the way to get things done, because you can get a bit overwhelmed. And there can be heartbreak, you know, but there can also be happiness. How about that from splitting the deck? So, you know, that is pretty much, it's one way or the other, isn't it? But from these cards that I can see here, that you know, that presence, that self-awareness, that standing in your own power, power, courage, strength, standing in your own power and believing in yourself, because no one's going to do it for you. You know, there'll always be, for every person that says you can do it, there'll always be somebody, mostly the voice inside your head, you know, especially if you've had a toxic parent. Oh boy, did I. So, you know, there's always going to be the little monkey on your shoulder saying you can't. But so don't set yourself an impossible task, you know. You don't walk into a gym and suddenly deadlift the biggest weights that are there. You start small and you work up. And I think that can be said with any plans. You know, even if you just set yourself a task to do for this week, one thing to get you one step closer. There is a book called Atomic Habits, and it's really, I need to actually listen to that again. I do audiobooks because I'm a crafter, so I find it very hard to sit still, and I'm sure anybody here who is an artist or a crafter will find that having idle hands is actually really bad for us. So I listen to an awful lot of audiobooks while I work. So if you struggle with time guilt, or you will need to be productive with your hands, listen to an audiobook, man. Like, honestly, seriously, like, they are the best. I'll take it over a TV show any day of the week. So the first card that came out was New Outlook. Now these three came out together, and then we have that one. I'll see if there's any more in a minute. So this just, it's open mind. It's this new idea, this new outlook. I'm going to add that to seeds because it's all tying in. And here, like when I was talking about baby steps, simplicity. You know, you can't grow a seed without soil. And it is the two basic things, you know, seeds and soil and a bit of water. That's, you know, you don't need to start big. You don't need to start big. Ideas form on the best notepads, the scruffiest bits of paper, and in the research and the work, you are going to have to put work in, and you are going to have some potential boundaries here. You know, people will steal your time, and they will steal your energy, and then you will become indecisive. And if you do have periods where you're indecisive, flip coins, man. Like, they're honestly, because there's no right or wrong when you're starting something new. It's just like, what do you prioritize? So all your ideas go in a box or in a book or on a list or a scrap of paper, and pull one out and deal with it, you know. And if you don't want to deal with that one today, put it back in and pick out another one. This positivity is there, so you do have that on your side. You do have this like positive thinking that there's a desperation for a change. You want it to happen yesterday because, I don't know, maybe financial implications, maybe you're broke, been there, and you know, but there is that, take a gamble on yourself. Like, I'm not saying go like do some blackjack and lose yourself all your savings. What I'm saying is there is no right or wrong. So if you don't try, you'll never find out. And everything is a lesson or a blessing. So if it goes right, blessing. If it goes wrong, you learn your lesson, you know. It's like, somebody told me that a long time ago, and it's so true. Finding balance, you know, like balance within yourself. That naysaying voice is probably taking over a little bit. So I think you should just, it's the pros and cons lists again, you know, and have a bit of humility. I think humility will always guide us right, because it's, you know, it's just knowing that it's not one way or the highway, and you know, just, yeah, your defense mechanisms are high. I can get that, but look, use your masculine energy. The masculine energy is that ability to take a bit of a risk. It's the ability to gamble a bit. Not stereotyping here in any way, shape or form, yes I am. But the masculine energy is a bit more impulsive. They don't have that fear of, oh God, it's going to go wrong, blah, 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 blah. They just do. try, have a go. And I mean, I'm not speaking for all men there, you know, but a lot of the men I know have they're just really good at just going, well, is that a whole, like, what if it fails, but what if it doesn't, you know? And that's the kind of energy we've got here. A time to give rather than take. New moon in Virgo, so maybe rather than doing the research at home, maybe you need to get out. If you're doing something, like it says here, like healer, so I think maybe the ideas you're having and all the things you want to do involve, you know, caring for those, or looking after those that can't sort of look after themselves. I mean, I don't mean like in a, like working in a caring facility. I mean like self-help, that kind of, like, or helping the homeless or something charitable. So time to give rather than take. Maybe it's time to go and, like, do a volunteer shift at the food bank once a month, or, you know, that sort of thing. Help out your local youth club. You know, give out your knowledge and help, because I get a feeling here that you are somebody very knowledgeable. You've got an awful lot of skills. You could be a hobbyist, you could be a DIY kind of guy, you could be a crafter kind of gal, you could be, that's really stereotypical, isn't it? DIY kind of gal, maybe. Like, you know, my DIY skills aren't amazing, but I have a go. I could use a spirit level, so my shelves are straight. Better with cars than I am with DIY. So yeah, this could be turning your hobby into something that will help people, whether you're starting a Stitch and Bitch group or you're starting a fellowship of some sort. But there is this kind of, like, I am definitely getting this kind of, like, whatever you want to do, it helps people. 2 cards come out here in the Herbiary book. Let's have a look and see what comes out. Well, first one we've got is Rose. I love roses. And we've got Remembrance, which is rosemary. Sorry, that's just crack open. Rose. So let's go with the rose first, as it's the first card. There it is. Actually, really, these are kind of tattooy, aren't they? I love them. I kind of like the frames almost better than the pictures. There's some moons there showing as well, and some thorny roses. So, Rose the species, yes, that. Rose sighs as she contemplates Rain and Maria's Rilke's take on relationships. Rose adores poetry, but despite popular belief, she simply can't countenance mushy love. Rose knows that to experience love in full, you need to be a strong vessel, while at the same time cracking open. A contradiction? No. More a contradiction than flowers and thorns, murmurs Rose. Rose reminds you to embrace dualities and say both and instead of either or. Once the realization is accepted that even between the closest human beings, infinite distances exist, a wonderful living side by side can grow if they succeed in loving the distance between them, which makes it possible for each other to be whole again against the sky. That is actually really beautiful, isn't it? It's the realization that to love somebody is to love all of the bits, you know, even the dark bits in between, the patches, the hard bits. I think it's quite beautiful, really. Where are we? Rosemary. One of my favourite herbs, actually. I really love rosemary. Rosemary is the smell of déjà vu and afterbreath of nostalgia. Her gift is the faint scent that teases and vanishes, leaving you longing for something you can't quite name, with memories that crest and crash, pulling you grasping into their undertow. In Victorian times, rosemary was said to say, "Remember me." But this is a small part of her magic. Rosemary can ease remembrance, soften sharp edges, or she can dredge the distant past, pulling on your DNA to bring forward the longings of lineage. Crush the leaves and hold them to your nose. The past is encoded into our cellular memory. Rosemary whispers, sink into the knowledge that lives in your bones, and let memory rise up from the body of your being. I like that. So maybe there's a bit of a calling there to talk to your ancestors. Remember those that have passed. I know I often say hi to my father. He passed a few years ago, and I have a picture of him on my landing, and every time I catch my eye with it, I always kiss my finger and put it on his forehead. So here, 333 support, which is growth, creativity, joy, community, vision and talents. So seeing the angel number 333 is a sign that it is time to focus inward, work on your skills, discover your talents, and use your imagination. Unleash your inner artist. Doing so will boost your self-esteem, sense of competence, and it does wonders for your sense of purpose and contributes to your community. How fitting is that card? Contributing to your community, giving rather than taking, discovering your skills and unleashing your talents, boosting your self-esteem, new outlook, new ideas. Everything's just tied together. So if you see 333 in the wild in the next week, this reading is meant for you. I know it's for like Tuesday the 6th of January, but if you're listening to this and it's not, it is still meant for you. So yeah, I'm going to leave that there. That's everything you need to know. So get your thinking cap on, get your ideas flowing, and start making yourself a plan of action. I could do well to take that bit of advice. But thank you so much for being with me. Like, subscribe, share, do all the stuff. I'll be so, so grateful. And if you have any lovely names for my beautiful flamingos, please do leave them in the comments. I cannot wait to hear from you. I'll see you in the next one.